Welcome to NIACC Rewind. I'm Chris Frenz. The NIACC men's basketball team opened its season by splitting a pair of games at the Missouri State West Plains tournament this past weekend. The Trojans topped Snead State of Alabama 90-81 and then dropped the 96-73 decision to Otero Junior College of Colorado. The NIACC women's basketball team opens its season Monday night at home against the William Penn University. Game time is set for 7 o'clock at the NIACC gym. The NIACC soccer team had its season come to a close with a 4-0 loss to number 1 Iowa Western at the NJCAA Region 11 tournament in Des Moines on Saturday. The NIACC men's and women's cross-country teams run at the NJCAA National Tournament this Saturday in Fort Dodge. The NIACC wrestling team opened its season on Saturday with the 7th annual Kaye Open. The Trojans advanced 4 wrestlers to the finals and crowned 3 champions, the most ever by NIACC in the history of the tournament. Winning titles for the Trojans were at 149 pounds, Nosomi Pozo, at 157 pounds, Yancy Mejias, and at 285, Shaquem Chapman. Blake Spots placed second for NIACC at 141. The NIACC wrestlers return to action on November 16th at the Luther College Open in Decorah. We'll talk with Steve Kelly, our head wrestling coach, in just a second. Back now with Steve Kelly, our head wrestling coach here at NIACC, and Coach had a nice opening weekend here at home in the Kaye Young tournament. So I tell you what, 3 champions and a second place person. I know you had a number of guys in the consolation brackets there too. So overall, I got to think pretty nice weekend for you to get things started.
Yeah, we were happy with how they performed, and the thing we look at a lot is their conditioning, how hard they're wrestling. Those are really the main things, and when you get wins along with it, that's always a plus. Because, we looked at our training schedule up to this point, and, it really hasn't been anything too rigorous. But, because the main thing we're concentrating on is getting the guys adjusted to college wrestling and the academics, the rigor of the academics. So we're real happy with where their conditioning is at. At this point.
Let's talk about the 3 champions. First of all, you had Nosomi Pozo, Yancy Mejias, and then Shaquem Chapman. I mean, those guys, is that expected, not expected? Surprise you? What?
The Yancy, he was wrestling at 157, and that's the weight he's going to continue competing at. Nosomi, it was a little bit of a, he's not, 49-pounder. He's not that size. And then Shaq wrestling up at heavyweight was kind of a shocker because his weight loss plan wouldn't allow him to wrestle at 197 this weekend. So he was wrestling guys that were a lot bigger than him. But the thing is, he has matured as a wrestler. Last year, he was just kind of this clumsy freshman, and he's grown into his body, and he actually looks like a college wrestler now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny because I know I was here for the championship, and I mean, he was probably giving up 50 pounds, 60 pounds with the kid.
Yep, the kid is put together, and. So I don't know. I was talking with our softball coach. He was a former football coach, and he said, boy, you could put 30, 40 pounds on that kid at the next level. So we might market him as a heavyweight after this season.
And I got to think Blake Spots was a pleasant surprise for you. I mean, not that he's not a good wrestler, because he certainly is, but boy, at that 141 weight class, that's always kind of a tough one to get through.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzzsaws, and it's just the maturity of him and his confidence. He's a good example of what we want our kids to do and how they progress, and because we don't always get the kids that are 2-3 time state champs, and he's a perfect example of him believing in himself and buying what we're selling him.
All right, anybody else kind of surprise you this weekend?
As a whole, it's especially when you're running your own tournament, you miss a lot of things because there's a lot of things you want to make sure it runs smoothly. So it's a real stressful weekend. There was some things that I missed. So really, it's pretty tough for me to pinpoint anything specifically.
All right, so now what do? You go until November 16th, so that's a few days away yet. So back into I would imagine the conditioning rules again. And
well, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure they have a couple good lifts this week. We want, because everybody, strength is confidence, and we want to make sure that they're lifting their weights and feeling physically strong. And then on Tuesday, we'll definitely lift today, and then on Tuesday we'll get back into the room, work on some technique, and have Seabolt work his skills that he has them do. And then I'll probably get another lift in on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll get a really hard one in, and we might give them Friday off. I'm not sure yet. We'll just see how it works, and then we'll start focusing on the Luther tournament.
I know the Kaye Young is an open tournament here, so you had some guys from Iowa State coming up unattached or in a club team or whatever it happens to be, but you got a chance to see some of the other teams within your conference too. I know Ellsworth was here, Iowa Lakes was here. I guess I'm not sure who else was here. There was a couple that come off the top of my head, but
Lincoln, that was nice to see them here, and then Itasca, and they're very competitive community colleges. So it's nice to see that competition right now and kind of measure us up to what we're going to be facing down the road. But I know for sure Iowa Lakes, Ellsworth, and Lincoln, they're very competitive teams.
I saw Basil Minto here this past weekend too, and obviously he's not at NIACC anymore. He's down at UNI, correct? Talk about where he's at right now, what he's doing.
He's kind of on the fence on whether he's going to redshirt or not. Okay. He could have an opportunity of wrestling 197 for him. I think he said that they have some tryouts coming up, but it's nice to see him at that next level doing good academically and athletically. Yeah. And he misses NIACC, and he feels it was a great move for him to come here right out of high school and then establish himself and get a Division I scholarship.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's a nice story.
Awesome. All right. Anything else you want to add for the good of the cause today?
No, not anything today.
All right. Sounds good. That's Steve Kelly, our NIACC wrestling coach.